Well, that's scary.
Hey there, hi
We're
there,
back.
ho there. We are back for issue number 6. I'm ready for this one, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Of course, welcome to Comic Book 101 TV. I am your excellent, most adventurous host, the Princess of Weird himself, Josh Johnson. And to my left,
The fuzzy little Wookiee cosplaying Tampa Bay.
Michael Stanley himself, the official photographer of Cosplay in Tampa Bay. Welcome to another issue of excitingly Comic Book 101. I know we keep saying it. It has been a great week. How was your week?
It's been busy. Went to the comic shop and picked up some new comics. And this weekend, we went RVing with the RV for a little bit. Went to a wonderful hot dog place.
Nice.
It's good.
I happened to have IPW Hardcore Wrestling this past Friday night. It was an amazing show, as always. What?
Did you lose?
Why would I lose? I was the ring announcer at IPW. What am I going to lose?
See, that's why I want to get back in wrestling. While you're not paying attention, come back and shake a guitar or chair. And
this is why I carry a plethora of beings with me to protect me at all times.
Bodyguards to protect him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You don't want to mess with Sir Rice, man. I'm in the process of some things here. But nevertheless, can you hear the thunder? Because I can hear the rumble that is a-coming. But that's a little bit later on in our show. We need to talk about first our wonderful sponsor, Yancy Street Comics, and the wonderful autograph signing they got coming up in a few weeks.
So yes, on March 21st, Andrea Muddy, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Andrea Moody.
I apologize. She's going to be down there doing autograph signing. Looking forward to definitely being down there for that one.
And this is Starship Down, issue number 1. It's March 21st, a Saturday. Starts at 12, goes to 2, and it's going to be at Yancy Street Comics, of course. This is Starship Down. It is a Dark Horse Comics, brand new release on that day. It most likely comes out that Wednesday, but you'll actually get it signed at Yancy Street on the 21st. I'm excited for it. I know you've got to be excited for it.
Because I'm pretty sure March, we don't have a convention that weekend.
So we're definitely going to have to figure something out. Nextly, we got to move on into our housekeeping of the week. Time to straighty up the place, dust off some things, clean up the windows, wax the carrots. I don't know how to clean a place. How do you clean a house? But nevertheless, we're going to clean our house here.
Cleaning's no fun.
Well, we have to clean our house of Comic Book 101. And the only major thing that we kind of had issues with last week that we've had a lot of fans comment on is our interviews from last week at Yancy Street Comics. Now, we do want to apologize. We did have some technical issues. We will have some technical issues later on in our show for some of our interviews at Yancy Street. These things do tend to happen, but we did not want to ignore the fact that we had these interviews. We know you, the fans, wanted to see these interviews specifically, so that's why we aired them with the technical difficulties that we had.
I gotta figure out my camera. Something happened with it.
It does tend to happen, but this is why it's a learning process. We're only 6 issues into this show. We're bound to have some technical problems, but I would like to think that we're coming along nice and neatly and enjoying ourselves, and the fans are enjoying it. So hopefully everybody's having a good time with Comic Book 101. Yeah. Now, this past weekend was a big, huge weekend. Normally we talk about cons like the Comic Cons and the Mega Cons and the Metro Cons and the Astronomicons.
A convention because you still can buy passes and get in.
No, you can't. You cannot buy passes to Toy Fair. The only way we're going to talk about, of course, this past weekend was New York Toy Fair 2020. There are ways to get in. Usually you have to know a vendor because this isn't an event open to the public. This is more open to vendors, retailers, people like us who are in the know and influencers who are going to talk about toys each and every week. This is where we find out what's coming out for the next year for action figures, statuettes, you name it. Oh, my goodness. was it amazing, Michael?
So the best part, some of the toys have already been released as of this weekend. Like, McFarlane has such a great line coming up. He has DC figures coming out, which those look amazing.
Which are already out.
They're
we saw
out.
a couple of them at Yancy Street. That Batman Who Laughs I showed you, the DC Direct one, the multiverse one, that's a Todd McFarlane figure.
The My Hero Academia figures that he did are already out now, and I may have bought a couple coming soon.
Those My Hero Academia figures look amazing. That's the one thing I love about McFarlane Toys is it doesn't matter the property you are looking at to buy or get into. Every single figure is a home run if you're looking at McFarlane Toys.
And McFarlane's bringing back Spawn because we have Mortal Kombat coming out, so he did a whole Mortal Kombat line. He did a new Spawn for that. And the best part, McFarlane decided, hey, what better thing to do for my line? I'm going to rebrand the original line of Spawn figures. He started a Kickstarter.
Now, did you happen to hear about this? I don't know if you saw the interview I tried sending you the other day about it, but this is the specialness about the Spawn McFarlane figures. As you can see, more of the McFarlane display. They've got Fortnite figures. They've got DC. A plethora of things that they do over there at McFarlane Toys and / Comics, because they do put out comic books. But yeah, if we could go to some of the Spawn figures now so we can start showcasing those a little bit. One of the things that we happened to talk about and see that really blew my mind, and Michael was talking about it just a sec, that Spawn figure that you were just bringing up.
The Mortal Kombat one?
No, the new one, the Spawn reissue. There you see him. That is an updated and upgraded upgraded of the retro. There's the original packaging upgraded.
I have like 4 copies of that one, by the way.
This figure is by far one of the most sought after figures in all of Spawn collecting.
And it's a great figure. The problem you had with that original figure was there was no articulation, so it's just pretty much just arms like this, legs straight. So he's redoing all the original figures with a
modern style.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things that McFarlane was talking about with it, was the fact that we have now been X amount of years removed from those original Spawn figures, and he's learned so much in the world of figure building that nowadays he's like, retro is in, the chic look is in, all that list of things you want to put there. He now realizes, hey, there is a market for this, and not only is there a market for this type of thing, but if I do it slightly different than I originally did, like that one figure we just showed of the original Spawn #1 reissued, his wings now fold in, whereas before they weren't able to do such things like that. Way more articulation, way more detail, and one of the things that he said was because it's now him doing it directly, he now is going straight to the consumer with his website with these figures, that he may even decide to change the comic book inside of them, maybe autograph a couple of the books,
which would be awesome,
which would be outright amazing. You can rebuy the figure that you already own with a brand new comic book and his autograph for around the same price. Highly recommended. McFarlane Toys did a great job this time around.
Speaking of McFarlane, I've been a fan of McFarlane Toys since the first Spawn figure. I've collected all of the toys that he ever did. When I was in New York Comic Con, McFarlane had a booth. I picked up the lanyard, picked up a bunch of pins, comics, and I also picked up this wonderful little spud potato head looking Spawn figure.
I don't think he's necessarily a spud there. I think he's a turd baby.
Yeah. He had 2 different versions. I fell in love with this one because I wanted the classic look. So I believe it was like $30 or $40. I picked it up right then and there. Sadly, I couldn't get it autographed, but I was still happy to have that.
Well, we'll get a little bit more into that when we get into our figures of the week. But there was a bunch of other toys that you happen to want to share with us here from New York Comic Con.
That was at New York Comic Con, posted a bunch of pictures on her page,
that penguin.
And I asked her, can I share these? And she said, yeah, but don't give her credit. So thank you.
There you go. Those are some Tombstone ones.
So look at these new Pokemon ones. There's a lot of cool ones.
Leonardo da Vinci, Wonder Woman 84. There's a Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey purse. I don't know why you put the Phillies Maniac in there. It's not. And there's the child, the asset himself. There's the Penguin from Billy Madison, Hobbs and Shaw Funko Pops. So many great things, not just from one company. Those Tombstone ones look amazing. So many different companies were putting out figures because this is the time of the year where they let everybody know it goes New York Comic Con or New York Toy Fair, then it's San Diego Comic Con for all the big reveals. And then, of course, as they come out, as you can order them, the Previews magazine, you can go out and you can pre-order them from Previews. You can pre-order them from websites. All of these figures that are coming out over the next year, unless they're coming out in the last quarter, you can pretty much start pre-ordering now, and that's the best thing about New York Comic Con.
And earlier on Facebook, I shared a post.
Toy Fair,
I shared a post about toys coming from New York, the Toy Fair. Bunch of ones that we didn't see here, the aliens.
Right. Let me get into my toys first.
One person, because we asked what did they enjoy from it, and Patty Ray goes the new Barbies. She's excited for.
Those new Barbies are really quite amazing. Mattel knocked it out of the park this year. One of the things, of course, Mattel makes that I was really happy about were the WWE Elite action figures, the core action figures. They got that new Beast Morphers kind of figures coming out with that blind box thing, and then of course Mattel has been making WWE figures for over 10 years. That's right, 10 years. They have the longest running action figure line in history with over 100 figures in the core line, 100 series. No other action figure set has ever done that. Not Transformers, not G.I. Joe, not Barbie. Nobody has gone that far but WWE and Mattel. And this is the decade of decadence for Mattel. They're going to be releasing new Legends figures. People who have been with WWE during the entire Mattel partnership for that entire 10 years, they're getting brand new figures. I just seen a retro Natalia, a retro Undertaker, John Cena, Randy Orton from his pre-Evolution days coming out where he's got the long curly hair and the arm sling as an accessory. So many great WWE figures. But that wasn't it.
I even saw the new AEW.
AEW is coming out with action figures as well. I liked a lot of those AEWs. I'm not a big Kenny Omega fan. I love the Kenny Omega
it's
one.
Not Goldust.
Dustin Rhodes had an amazing figure. Cody Rhodes had an amazing figure. Brandy Rhodes had a figure. But the one that I'm all about, I'm all into doing some cowboy stuff. I'm talking about Hangman Adam Page, a fine action figure. Comes with like a soft goods bandana, noose around his neck, vest on, and all these figures are fully articulated, fully posable, and will fit in line with your WWE action figure. So all of you figure fed guys, cross promotion, it's back like when we were kids. You can now pick up the AEW figures, you can pick up the WWE figures, and there was one more company that was releasing action figures. There's a Legends of Lucha Libre line coming out from, I can't remember the company. This will be in our cleanup for our housekeeping of next week now.
Yeah, the company on that one.
They're releasing Lucha Libre figures. Amazing figures. Will also fit in the scale of the WWE figures. I believe the Super 7 was one of the companies. Then you've got Hero Collector Moss, they've got WWE stuff coming out. So many wrestling figures that were announced. Andre the Giant has a new, 3 new figures coming out from 3 different companies. So many different figures. If you're a wrestling fan, this is the time to start getting excited because now your toy shelves are going to be filled with wrestling figures from multiple companies, as well as Super 7's New Japan Pro Wrestling line. That's like 4 or 5 different companies right there, not including Figures Inc. Co., who makes other wrestling figures as well. This is a great time to be a wrestling figure collector.
I'm going to be broke with all these figures.
And that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because to me, one of the things I was looking forward to, we've heard me talk about it for months and months now on Nerd Talk and on here, is the Hasbro. I love Hasbro so much right now. Hasbro's Ghostbusters line. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen any of these photos, but we can throw them up there right now. Check out some of those figures. They are re-releasing the original real Ghostbusters Kenner action figures because Hasbro owns the company Kenner now. So they will be releasing the original 6 action figures, Slimer, Stay Puft, and the 4 Ghostbusters in original packaging, re-release for the modern era, and they're only $15 and Walmart exclusive. Then you'll also have in the same scale, but slightly different, that new Ghostbuster figures line where you can see the Peter Venkman there. They're like this fright thing where the ghosts, their heads pop off. We're going to get a brand new Ecto 1, which is pictured there, which all the figures will feature inside of it. And the side door opens up with the gunner seat.
So, you know how I said I normally don't open toys?
These are some of the things you're going to have to open.
This is something I will open up. I will make a display of the building, and I will do a lot of toy photography.
Believe it or
with
not,
this.
Diamond Select Toys has you covered on that, because if you actually, these are some older figures now that we're going to talk about here for a second. Diamond Select Toys actually has it where if you buy some of their older figures, they build a diorama, and in one of the dioramas is the top of the building, Gozer's Tower. But if we can go back to that image, speaking of Build-A-Figures, up top there in the upper left-hand corner is their now Elite line, their Legacy line, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember exactly what they are calling it. There are going to be 6 figures with that Dana, the 4 Ghostbusters, and of course, the one and only Zool will be there. And if you buy all 6 figures, they each come with a piece to build a terror dog. So once you get all 6 figures, there's another figure for you in your company.
So did they say where you can find them at?
These will most likely be at all major retailers, Targets, Walmarts, Amazons, anywhere you're looking for action figures.
The only scalpers and get them early.
Only the ones that are going to be really extremely hard to find are those Kenner Real Ghostbuster action figures, the re-release figures, because those are Walmart exclusives.
Did they say when the date is?
They're already up for pre-order. You can go to Walmart.com and start pre-ordering every single thing I'm talking about. But the other big thing, and I hate to go back to the image right now, but that Ghostbusters play set, the play accessory sets where you can get the backpack, you can get the neutrino one, a PKE meter, a ghost collar, and you can relive all of those great cosplaying days as a kid. Bring your kids.
If I have the original. Kid, I would want that in a heartbeat.
I'm an adult and I want that. My 2-year-old daughter's getting hooked up this Christmas with Ghostbuster stuff. If there was ever a time to expose your kids to Ghostbusters, now is that time. Because with Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out, it's way more of a nostalgia kick this time than when we had Ghostbusters Answer the Call with the all-female cast. I'm highly excited for all of this Hasbro stuff. And Hasbro wasn't done there. You hear us talk about it each and every week here for the most part because they keep coming out. Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and of course, Power Rangers.
Oh, this one made me so happy when I saw it the other day.
Hasbro owns Ghostbusters and Power Rangers, lock, stock, and barrel. Look at those figures right there. Of course, being released for that Lightning collection is the Ranger Slayer herself, Kimberly, from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid, which would look perfectly next to your Lord Draken figure. I know I got to pick up that Lord Draken figure. He's already out. He's already at Think Geeks. I saw him up there one of the last times I was up there.
Damn, he's like being out of town this weekend.
$25, $30 figure. Really amazing.
I'll spend $30.
Will look great against that Power Rangers Lightning collection, Dragon Slayer, if you're into the new comic books from Boom Studios that we keep talking about here each week. And then, of course, that Dragon Dagger, the best Dragon Dagger to ever be released, bar none, because this time around, unlike any other Dragon Dagger you have seen, this one actually plays the Dragon Dragon Zord call, but it's by notes. So you literally have to figure out the exact sequence to play the Dragon Zord tune and bring them out in full permission.
I'm going to buy that. I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to open it here and learn to play it here.
Oh, and that was an amazing thing. That is just, there was a bunch of other collection figures that were released as well.
Ninja Turtles as a Power Rangers.
Well, speaking of Ninja Turtles.
That'll make me happy. Give me a figure of that.
NECA released the best. NECA has the best Ninja Turtle toys. They have a new 6 to 8 inch Ghostface killer figure from the Scream films that I have my eye on.
I saw those.
They have a bunch of the reaction figures. They have a bunch of things coming out. But one of the biggest thing that NECA has coming out that completely blew my mind, first and foremost, Tokar Razor Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Fully articulated, will come with multiple hands. The eyebrows on Tokar, I believe, or Razor, Tokar, I believe, is the turtle. His eyebrows move. You can actually pose him so he's all excited and stuff. Same with Razor. It comes with the donuts that they had to eat. The TGRI canister.
Okay. Do we get a Vanilla Ice figure?
No, there is no Vanilla Ice figure. It is not.
Let me down. I want the Vanilla Ice figure.
I want a Vanilla Ice figure. I've seen that dude in concert a few times.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
He's done that one too live. It's amazing. But that's not over with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, because Big Sexy himself, Kevin Nash, the Super Shredder. Look at that bad boy. I have the original Playmates Super Shredder figure. That thing blows it out of the water. That thing's going to be like $60 to $80 alone. Comes with that special display stand, multiple hands for displaying. That is an amazing piece if I have ever seen a Super Shredder piece. And if you get it autographed by Kevin Nash, even better. If you get it autographed by Kevin Nash and send it to me, you will be my best friend for life. Hands down.
Now.
Yes, you'll have two of them if you get one
I
for
need
each
one
of them.
here.
But that is all we got to talk about right now about
We could
Toy
do a
Fair.
whole episode of
we
Toy
could
Fair,
literally
'cause
do
there's so much.
There
The
was so
videos
much.
you sent me on YouTube. It's hours of watching.
Just go online, Google New York Toy Fair 2020. You'll be able to find all the videos we've used to research this. A bunch of other toys that we haven't even talked about, like the NECA Ninja Turtles animated line, the Turtles in Times,
figures.
the new Venomized ones, the DC Comics figures that are coming out, and a plethora more. Just do your due diligence. We always say it, go to the Google machine, go to the Twitter machine, wherever you go, YouTube, look up some of these toys from New York Toy Fair 2020, and you will not be disappointed. You might find something that you might want to buy.
I'm going to definitely be getting some. I got some My Hero Academia coming because this weekend I'm meeting a couple of the characters from it.
Nice.
So,
well,
I'm excited for it.
Like each and every other week that we go through, tomorrow is New Comic Book Day, so we have to talk about our new comics we purchased this week here on Comic Book 101 TV. And we got some new graphics.
Woo, fancy. We're moving up.
Yeah, we're doing things now. I'm going to start off this week's brand new comic book purchases with one that I happen to grab. You know me. You see the right hand of doom on the table usually each and every week. I happen to pick up the brand new Hellboy comic book, and it is Hellboy and the B.P.R.D, The Return of Effie Kolb, #1. This is a two-parter. So issue 1 came out now. Issue 2 will be coming out in a few weeks. And what an amazing read. Returns back to some old Hellboy stomping grounds. Really good read. The first issue was a lot of setup. You can tell that the next issue is going to be chock full of action. And really recommend the book. Highly suggest a lot of Hellboy stuff because I love me some Hellboy. Michael, what did you happen to pick up this week?
So the first one I picked up just because I fell in love with the cover work, and it's issue #1. It's DCeased Unkillables. The blockbuster DC returns to answer the question, what did the villains do when the heroes failed and the world ended? Spinning out of dramatic events from the 2019 smash hit, Tom Taylor returns for this dark version. Street-level tale of death, heroism, redemption, led by the Red Hood and Deathstroke. DC's hardest villains and anti-heroes fight with no mercy to save the only commodity left on the dying planet of undead life.
That is a very interesting read.
The artwork in there is amazing.
I don't know if you saw it, because even though we said we're getting off of it, they're releasing DC Direct, their own distribution company for DC Comics and their action figures, is doing an entire DCeased line of figures. I've seen that. The Superman looked good.
Yeah.
The Green Lantern looked really good. That DCeased line has been quite popular.
I believe that's actually
shops.
from McFarlane Toys.
I would not doubt that at this point.
I know he's doing Unchained and he's doing a Hellbat, but he might be doing that one as well.
Oh, I would not doubt it. No, DC Direct is doing those.
Oh, DC, okay.
It's their own company that does, because obviously with certain figures and certain toy lines, as you've just heard us say, McFarlane Toys has a license to make DC toys. DC Direct has the license to make toys, and a few others here and there all have the license to make DC products. This is why you see so many of them. Diamond Select is the ones that makes up those amazing statuettes that you see each and every year. The Batman Black and Whites, the Harley Quinns, the Joker ones. But moving on, the next book that I happened to pick up this week was Death to the Army of Darkness. I love me some Evil Dead. There you can see all the different covers as well as the issue that I happened to read.
Love covers.
That is a lot of covers. It was an amazing read. Really good. Helped set up a almost very comic book world, I would sense, because we're talking about comic books here, where we're going to get an entire team of Ashes, kind of a la the Deadpool corpse, where we had Headpool and we had Lady Deadpool and Dogpool. This is kind of the same thing, except we're going to have Ash, we're going to have a female Ash, we're going to have a dog Ash, we're going to have we're going to have all these Ashes, and this actually takes place as some pseudo sequel in between Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead TV show that was Ash versus the Evil Dead that came out on Starz.
A couple years ago.
This is actually at a point in Ash's life where he just wants it over with. He wants it done with. He's sick of being the chosen one. And this is him. He builds up a little bit of a team and goes and fights the Deadites one more time. It was a pretty decent read.
Definitely need to grab some of those and
looks like it's going to be
Campbell and have him sign
Looks like
that.
it's going to be like a 6-issue miniseries or something in that vein. I can't really wait. It's so far has been really, really good of a read. And what else did you pick up?
My next one was The Legend of Steve Concludes, the new Captain America book. Cap comes face to face with Dryad and learns her game-changing true identity, and we're not going to spoil it here. The cover I got was actually the variant version with Gwen Stacy on the right side.
Is Gwen Stacy the person that we're talking about?
We're not going to talk about it.
I think it's Gwen Stacy.
I cannot say
Why are you going to put Gwen Stacy on the cover? Is it Sharon Carter? Is it his niece
She-Hulk,
that
okay? No,
is it his
She-Hulk.
niece that he banged in the past, in the future?
I'm not going to release it because I can't give spoilers, but it's another great comic that came out this week.
For me, of course, each and every week I always talk about a book for the little ones. If you've got young kids at home, this is a book for them. Ducktales, Fairs and Scares, number 3. Once again, continuing on, the 3rd issue for this series is now finally over, done with. Its own little standalone story. It flashbacks to Scrooge's days in Shush as he and Benita Beakley, all these weird names, take out some foul sleeper agents, and they have to deal with their version of an abominable little snowman. You see him in the background there. In the book, he keeps popping up. As Scrooge is on an adventure, this dude keeps popping up and popping up and popping up. And eventually, at the end, he gets rid of him and stuff. Really decent read. If you got little ones at home, I always recommend these Disney comics, whether it be DuckTales, Uncle Scrooge, Descendants, whatever it may be, Star Wars even.
Yeah.
If you've got little ones out there are definitely comic books for them out there.
They got a new Star Wars line coming out in comics.
That's an issue for a whole nother day. That's a nerd talk conversation.
I know you saw that one.
Yes, I did. But to
my last one. So this character has been through a lot. He's been a loner. He's been a killer. He's been a hero. He's been an Avenger. Wolverine is back with a new series. He's even been to hell and back. Now he comes to a nation of, I'm probably going to pronounce it horribly wrong, Krayoko, and brings together mutant kind. Can he finally be happy? With his family and friends together safe, Wolverine has everything he ever wanted and everything to lose. And we have a little surprise, the return of one of his best villains ever.
Sabretooth?
Sabretooth's great, but Omega Red.
Oh, gotta love you some Omega Red. Omega Red, the big Soviet powerhouse that he is, with the tentacles coming out of the hands and stuff.
The copy I got, you saw on the screen on the far right, the Alex Ross version. So the cover actually opens up and it has ripped through it and everything.
Oh, nice. That is really cool.
That's the main reason I picked up that one. It was a little more expensive, but I'm like, I want that one. It's
awesome.
worth it.
It's definitely worth it. And once again, as we tell you, each and every week, you can head out to your local comic book stores. You can pick up all of these comics. In a few months, you'll be able to pick up the graphic novels and the trade paperback so you can catch the full story. Now, as we continue on here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to an interview, one of our first of this show, with the other Steve from Yancy Street Comics. That's right. We've interviewed both Steves. Here's the second one of Steve from Yancy Street Comics right now.
Here we are, Yancy Street Comics. Now I'm with the other co-owner, Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So you got a great event going on today.
Yeah, everybody loves a party, and we like to throw a party.
So I also heard you had Chuck Dixon last weekend, didn't you?
Yes, Saturday we had Chuck Dixon and Greg Lamb celebrating the Birds of Prey.
So how did that event turn out?
It was great. Yeah, real good turnout.
So how do you go about getting these wonderful comic book people here today?
Over the years, really just building a relationship with them all. We started out small. We'd have a few people come out, and they gave us a shot, and they were treated well, and word spread. And now sometimes we actually have some of the creators come to us to do the signings.
That's awesome. So how long has Yancy Street been here?
We opened in July of 2003.
So almost 20 years now, 17 years. So you're going to have a big party on year 20?
Oh, absolutely.
What's been your favorite thing so far owning a comic book shop?
Really just the people that we meet. To be able to stand in here and talk about comics and movies and all that stuff and make a living of it, and then meeting cool people like we have here today. That's really it. I always say I'm never going to get rich doing this, but we've met lots of cool people.
So have you seen the new Birds of Prey movie?
Not yet, but Jimmy told me I need to see it by this weekend.
That's what he told me too. But I want to say thank you for having us come out. It's been a great event, and we're here every week picking up new comics and talking about it on the show. We're promoting you every week on the show and everything. Is there any events coming up that you want to talk about that you can talk about right now?
We are diligently working on our free comic day, which will be May 2nd. Our guest list is going to be amazing again, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And then next month we have artist Andre Muti coming out, doing a new Dark Horse #1 comic called Starship Down. He'll be here signing those.
All right, we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
And there we have Steve from Yancy Street Comics. You can go ahead and check them out on Facebook.com, Yancy Street Comics. They always have a bunch of events. We're going to be there, hopefully, for their next event. At least Michael should be there.
I'll definitely be there.
I'm hoping to be there as well. It's going to be a great time. But we need to move on. We've already talked about everything we purchased this week in the world of comic books. Now it's time to talk about everything we purchased this week in the world of action figures. For our figure purchases of the week, new figure purchases, we got graphics this time. We're moving up.
Did we make money somehow to afford get this?
I don't know, but we're going to figure it out.
Something happened. Our budget went up.
So we've already talked about Michael's New York Comic-Con exclusive from 2019.
But I'm not opening
his
it.
McFarlane Toys Spawn Turd Baby, where Spawn kills everyone. It's an amazing figure. They have them on eBay. You can't buy them anywhere else because guess what? They were limited to New York and San Diego
And they were
Comic-Cons.
limited amount they would sell per day as well.
Exactly.
So if you went later in the day, like 5 o'clock, they were done. You had
Yeah.
to wait till the next day for the next batch to be released.
And that is always one of those things that you want to be aware of. And, especially when you're dealing with con exclusives.
It makes it a lot harder because right when you go in, certain booths like Funimation, you had go there first thing, grab a ticket, run to your next booth, grab a ticket, and you had wait in lines for tickets to even be able to have a chance to go back at 4 o'clock and purchase what you want. Some booths, like the Pop Vinyls, they weren't tickets. You had to do an online raffle before the convention, and if you won, you got a chance to buy them.
And yes, this McFarlane Toys Spawn Turd Baby, that is officially what it's called. Rob can't believe me every time I says it. It is a turd baby. It is, you look up on eBay, New York Comic Con 2019 Spawn Turd Baby. This is the thing that is opening up for you. And yeah, it is.
Now we can see a little
You
bit
can see the
better.
turd baby. He's not opening this bad boy. This
No,
is
I'm
one of
not.
his purchases that he's just going to sit here and allow to collect dust.
One day when I get a display case for all my Spawn figures, I may open them and just stick them on top. But right now, he's staying in there. But I
Now-
do have a nice little Dreadwing here. And I believe someone, when he found I had it, wanted it.
This is where we're going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be our first trade ski of the show, because I happen to bring this with me, Nicol Bolas from Pop Vinyls, Funko Pop Vinyl, Magic the Gathering, number 12. This came out a little while ago, back in 2014, and I offered this up as a trade ski for the Transformer.
So I had sit there for like 10 minutes after he said, "Do you want to trade?" I'm like, "Do I? Do I?" And I'm like, I will, but I'm going to let him sit and wait a minute before I reply and let him sit there.
I was stewing a little bit for this bad boy, but here we
There you
go.
go.
An official
I'm
trade
not
ski.
opening him though.
You can have
He's gonna
it.
be
This guy is
displayed up
yours.
on
We're
the
going
shelf.
to hack him up there so we know whose toys are whose right now. But I am a loose figure collector. Oh, nope, you got to move him back. Move him back because he was on cam. Do you got him, Rob? Is he back? Okay. There you go. Nicol Bolas from Magic the Gathering Funko Pop line. But now it's time to open Dreadwing here. I am a loose collector. I collect all my Transformers loosey-goosey. So let's... Oh, you can hear it. Comes with a nice little action figure card here, a trading card. Gives you a little bit of info on Alpha Trion Dreadwing. Oh, I did? I can? I will later.
And
All right, there goes that. There's this. So we can try to... Oh, on the... there's the card for Dreadwing.
In front of the little turd.
You're the one who brings turds to the show, so...
I like my little turd.
There you see the card. We're going to pop this bad boy out because we know modern action figures take a long time to take out of the packaging. And Michael, do you know who makes this nice little bad boy? Nope, you can't see.
Nope.
It's a Hasbro toy. That's right.
Who makes all of them?
Who makes every single Transformer figure ever made. I'm not going
that
to
flew over by me.
Oh yeah, I believe it. He's got plastic pieces stuck into his gear.
Yeah. They make it so you can steal them.
Oh no, they really do. And there's Dreadwing. I'm not going to transform him on the show this week. There's his little gat, and there's his little backpack so that he can go around for his adventures. There you go. Dreadwing from the Transformers Powers of the Prime series. I love these figures, the Powers of the Prime. They released a new trailer for the Powers of the Prime.
I saw that trailer.
I watched that series when it was on Line and stuff like that. There was another version of it. Oh my god, it was so amazing.
It's classified a Netflix anime.
Yep, and it's going to be if it's just them putting out what they've already done, it's going to be amazing. I've already seen it. If not, because I didn't watch the trailer. If not, it's still going to be amazing because the company that made those were downright fantastic. But that's our action figures of the week, our weekly purchases. Now it's time for Michael of Cosplay in Tampa Bay to hit us with our cosplayer of the week.
Spotlight, whatever you want to call it. So we have a wonderful cosplayer. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times at conventions. So let's go ahead and post Mr. Enigma up right there. So his favorite cosplay is Arkham Riddler. He's been doing a lot of different Riddlers. Riddler is a man who prides himself of his mind and ultimately gets the best of him. What got him into cosplay was, where was it? He wanted to just get out into a different world and just be somebody different, not worry about reality of life anymore. What he enjoys about cosplay is his favorite characters, people he's met. He met his boyfriend, who cosplays Scarecrow as well, and they've been cosplaying together. And they're actually working on Star's cosplays from Resident Evil soon.
Nice. Very, very, very nice. Of course, that is our cosplayer of the week.
A couple of those photos were mine.
And of course, our cosplayer of the week, you can go ahead and find him on Instagram. We have the little lower third for him. It's Echo _Enigma on Instagram. Thank you very much, Rob, our producer, helping us out so much here, making sure that we look somewhat good and, all that jazz. He's giggling at me, but still,
so
he does make us look
spotlight.
nice. All right, before we get to our character spotlight of the week,
that's too tall.
We need to go into our other interview. I believe you're going to queue up this one this time.
Am I?
Yeah, it's on the list. It says interviews.
My list has got... Yeah, let's just go to the interview because I don't even know where we're at right now.
This is the interview that Michael did with the one and only
there it is.
Amanda Connor, the writer and illustrator of Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Here we are, Yancy Street. We're here with Amanda Connor. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. So how was the turnout for you tonight?
It was great. We thought we were going to sign until about 8 and we ended up signing until about 9. So it went really well.
So I got to say one thing because I'm a big Harley Quinn fan. And one thing I know you do with Harley Quinn, I mentioned when I got my autograph earlier, is you make sure she changes her clothes all the time because same superheroes, supervillains, whatever, don't wear the same outfits. How did you decide you wanted to do that?
I just said, okay, what girl do you know has one outfit in her closet? And then I was like, yeah, Harley would never have only one outfit. So we gave her a lot of different outfits. And, once you keep with the black and red or the black and blue diamond, black and blue and red diamond theme, and yeah, you can just run with it. And you always recognize Harley, no matter what she's wearing. So.
And we're here because the new release of Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. So how did you enjoy the movie that came out recently?
It was so fun, so fun. There was not a boring second in the movie. It was a blast.
I still gotta go see it. I've slacked off. We've been so busy. I haven't had time. I just need 3 hours so I can sit down and finally watch the movie. So how did it come about for y'all to do this comic?
It was actually supposed to be not a movie adaptation, but it was supposed to sort of run with the movie and sort of be attached story-wise to the movie. And then after a bunch of iterations, we were just let's just make it its own thing. So we ended up doing the book. The book starts, the first issue starts about 8 to 10 hours after our last issue of our run on the Harley Quinn series. So yeah, it's just a continuation of that.
That's awesome. And the artwork, everything looks great with this. I just want to say thank you again for coming out to Yancy Street and again, chance to meet you again. I hope you have a great weekend and everything and have a safe trip home. And if you're in town, make sure you stop off this coming Saturday. There's going to be another comic shop. Which one are you going to be at there?
We're going to be at Emerald City on Saturday.
Okay. Make sure you stop there, come Yancy Street, support the local comic shops. Yes. Thank you again, and it's been a great night, Yancy Street. We're done, and we're going to see you back at the studio.
Oh, we're back. So
My figure fell.
Amanda wasn't feeling good. That's why the interview was a little short. She was very tired from the event because it was only supposed to be 2 hours and it went well over 3 hours at that point. So I was happy she gave us time to even just have a few minutes to talk to her. So thank you so much again, Amanda.
Yes, and of course, next week we will have the conclusion of our Yancy Street Comics interviews with the other individual who is there. Of course, I'm talking about the colorist, Paul Mounts. He will be having our interview played next week on Comic Book 101 TV. We still have a couple more interviews to go.
Chuck Dixon next week.
We got Chuck Dixon next week. We got the Guardians of Justice next week. We've got a lot of interviews coming out over the next few weeks because of Sarfai Bartow and the wonderful signing over at Yancy Street. But we're going to continue on into our character spotlight of the week. And this week is all about, Captain, my Captain, Captain America himself. Now, let's see our Captain America. I want to see our Captain America. Wait a minute.
Wait, no,
That's not our captain.
I didn't vote for this captain.
This is not our Captain America. Rob, this is the wrong Captain America.
Right.
No, that is still the wrong Captain America.
What are we doing here?
That's like the 1970s Captain America. Nobody cared for this Cap. Where's our Captain America? There you go. There's our Captain America. That's America's ass. Right there. Chris Evans himself, Captain America.
Look at that part right there.
He made a banana split for everybody.
yeah.
I don't see what's so offensive about that. I mean, he is Captain America. He does his job diligently and dutifully.
Bloody hell.
Yes, you like that little swerve on you.
That was like a Rick roll right there. I was not expecting that.
Of course, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Evans, he's starred in not another teen movie. He's been in a lot of things. He's a phenomenal actor. And
Human
of course,
Torch.
he was a decent Human Torch. But of course, we're talking Captain America this week. Yes. And the very first appearance of Captain America comes all the way in Captain America #1, all the way back in 1941, March 1941 to be precise. This is where Captain America is knocking out Nazis, punching Hitler in the face, and he wants his scalps. All of them.
There he is punching Hitler right there.
This is the first introduction of the character. Of course, he was a World War II veteran, a World War II hero.
What better time bring out that comic during the war?
Oh, exactly. He fought the Nazis. He wound up fighting the Nazis before the United States was fighting the Nazis. A tried and true American symbol is Captain America. However, his sales would diminish. He would eventually go into stasis. He would go under ice for a bit. But not before being brought back into this world. Because, of course, in the original comics version of it, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby created Captain America. But it would be many, many years where Jack Kirby would reinvent him along with Stanley. And, of course, that would be in Avengers #4, once again in March, but this time in 1964. This is when Captain America was de-thawed from ice. We found out he was frozen in time. He's the man that we all know and love today. And he joins the Avengers in this historic issue of Avengers #4. Amazing comic books, the first two right off the bat. Cornerstones of the character, because obviously you have to talk about his origins, and then you have to talk about the rebirth of the character. And Captain America is a man who's gone through quite a few rebirths.
Then next time, another great comic, Civil War.
Yes, I believe there were some other issues that came out before Civil War, but yes, Civil War, huge. One of my favorite comic books of Marvel Comics, period. I became Team Tony Stark, Team Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
But I could also see Team Captain America's side on this one. The Superhuman Registration Act coming into effect. We've seen the film of it, which basically loosely on it. Gave a bit of it, but nowhere near as much as this book. This book literally had fights between heroes in the middle of New York, two sides of heroes going at it, Punishers killing villains and Stiltman at their funerals. Amazing, amazing story was Civil War. So, do you have anything else for Civil War?
That's it.
That pretty much covers it. And of course, after that, we got to talk about, because after Civil War comes the death of the dream, the American dream, that is, not Dusty Rhodes, not Dusty Rhodes. That, you know what? In this episode, Dusty, Cody, and Dustin all got wretched. Thank you.
It's probably the only time that'll happen.
Yes,
right now.
Thank you, Rhodes family. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about the death of Captain America, the death of the dream. It was an amazing issue. I have both covers of this because it was such a historic moment to come out of Civil War. No one knew what was going. We knew Captain America was going on trial, but to get shot on the steps.
And by who did it too?
Oh yeah. Like, it was a huge whodunit type story. Of course, Captain America is now back and everything like this. But at the time, we all thought this was it. He's done. It's over with, like we always do. But it was a great story.
Up the helm and everything. At the time.
I liked Bucky's Captain America. I thought he was a great symbol for the character, and that brings us to Bucky and the Winter Soldier. Another great story that was adapted into the movies as well. Bucky was once Captain America's sidekick in the 1940s fighting in World War II, was originally killed all the way until this comic book where they brought him back from the dead, and he became a KGB agent. He was working for the Russians, and Cap trying to deal with all of this, and eventually gets his buddy back.
Which you got to think how emotional that is for him. Your best friend's dead and you see him come back. It's like, how do you deal with it? And you get to see all that in the comic.
Yeah, and then
you saw it in the movie as well.
No, but even then, now imagine thinking your best friend's died, then having him watch you die as you get shot on the steps, and then he has to pick up your mantle. Then he gives up your mantle so that the Falcon can go on and fly as Captain America. There was also, in this time period, with the death of Captain America, you had the Punisher running around as Captain America. You had a special Captain America suit made, which had the Punisher skull inside of the American star that he would normally wear. Numerous characters. This is where we saw the Iron Patriot make his first emergence, which is obviously one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. Love me some Iron Patriot. And then we would go on a little bit back in time right now. We're going to go all the way to Captain America No More in Captain America number 332. This is one of the first times Captain America gives up the mantle of Captain America and walks away. He's done with it. He just becomes known as the Captain. And this is one of the big reasons why I brought this into it. This is one of the first times we see the U.S. agent start coming around. And with the Winter Soldier coming around.
The U.S. agent coming up in the new show.
Yep, with the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show, we're going to see the U.S. agent start popping up. There have been a lot of men who have been tried to take up that mantle of Captain America in different forms, different ways, but there's only been one Steve Rogers, a man out of time. I never liked Captain America.
Steve Rogers,
I was never a big fan of Steve Rogers. I still am to this day. I was never a big fan of Steve Rogers. But with that said, I will give Chris Evans Captain America and the MCU version of him, because each version that you see, whether it be the comic book version, an animated version, the Chris Evans movie version, or the other two movie versions, or another version that somebody might create, everyone is slightly different than the last. And
even in the movie versions, you see him change over the course of time how he is.
But one way we have never seen him change was like this one when we get to Secret Empire.
Hail Hydra.
Issues number 0 to 10, and this is where Captain America, a alternate version of him, utters that disgusting phrase of Hail Hydra.
Disgusting.
It is absolutely disgusting. They're a bunch of Nazis, and nobody likes Nazis.
But I like Hydra.
No, they're Nazis. Nobody can like them. Even Hydra Bob, he's a Nazi. Screw him. You heard me say it. I may be a lunatic, but I'm an American lunatic. And yes, I did not like Steve Rogers joining up with Hydra. It was great that we got the actual Steve Rogers in the end. Yeah. Avengers Assemble, starts beating the crap out of himself. Did he technically play with himself? Did he? Does that bring a whole new meaning to wrestling with yourself?
Yeah, and that's not the first time he did it then.
Yeah, he's done it a lot of times. Yeah. Captain America really likes fighting and wrestling with
America's
Captain America.
ass.
Can we see America's ass again with the banana split?
Oh God.
Both of you at the same time. Oh, God. Yes, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, there is America's ass because he wanted to make everybody a banana
there you
split.
go.
Of course, Secret Empire was an amazing comic book, one of the more recent titles that Marvel wound up putting out. And this is going to lead into a lot of the Empire stuff that we've been reading now because everything ties into
They did a
everything
little
else.
nod of that comic in the newest movie.
Yes,
in
yes,
the
they-
elevator scene where he goes Hail Hydra in there and everything.
Yes,
so it's a
and-
nice little. Oh, we know where that's from.
Yes, and that's going to bring us to the film and TV versions. Of course, there are a ton of Captain America comic books out there in graphic novel, single issue form. Please, wherever you go to buy your comics, please buy the graphic novel, buy the single issues, do whatever you got to take to get some of these comics because they're an amazing read that you do not want to miss. But moving on to some of the movie versions of Captain America, we've already talked about the other ones. Let's talk about the important one, Chris Evans, and all the way from Captain America, the First Avenger, all the way through Endgame.
So, which Captain America movie did you enjoy the most?
Out of them all, legit Civil War. I'm a huge Civil War mark. The fact that I had Tony Stark in it and they were fighting each other, and especially everything that they brought in with the Winter Soldier and Baron Zemo. I never cared for Baron Zemo and his stupid pink mask, but boy, howdy did they make Baron Zemo interesting in this new film franchise with Civil War.
So let's go ahead and start with the first Captain America movie, the movie we all know, the
First Avenger.
So it gives a great origin story on how he becomes him, the super serum and everything. And there's a good photo right there. If we can go back to that one and pause it for a second, the one with all of them, maybe.
Yeah, there's so many different versions of the suits that he's
so there
worn
he goes. You see
throughout
all the
time.
different suits.
And yeah, they were all very interesting. That one, of course, is from Captain America, the First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and moving on. That one's from Avengers, Civil War right there. There you see the first version, the last version, and there is the history of Captain America all the way from World War II to present day at the end of Endgame in the snap.
Probably my favorite suit of all of them is the middle one.
I do enjoy that it's kind of secret agent, shield agent style version of Captain America. I loved him in Endgame.
Yeah.
To me, like I said, I've never been a big Captain America fan, but I had a very close friend who was a big Captain America fan. One year for Christmas, I actually bought him a Captain America Lucha Libre mask, and the first photo I took with it on is I did a Red Skull photo where he's all wearing the mask and menacing before I gave it to my buddy. Sadly, my buddy Jimmy Apollo would pass away before he ever got to see Endgame or Infinity War.
Oh.
And seeing that scene of Captain America taking up Mjolnir and
That was the best part right there.
seeing that scene and then him tightening up the shield and doing Avengers Assemble, legit, I had tears in my eyes because I knew my buddy would have really enjoyed seeing that imagery on the screen. Because as much as I enjoyed seeing it, he's a Cap fan and he's more of a good guy fan, and that would have been by far one of the best scenes in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it involved Captain America of all people.
I'm not even a big Captain America fan, but I do agree that scene right there was probably one of the best.
Hands down. Then of course,
Because he never gives up. He keeps going no matter what. And he always has, everything is the right cause. He won't ever go left on it. It's always
and the
doing
best
right
thing about that scene that somebody wanted to bring it up to me recently, why it was one of their favorite scenes, is because when he straps the shield back onto his arm and he's got the hammer in his hand, he doesn't know the portals are coming.
Yeah.
He literally thinks it's him versus the army,
And
he is
gonna
ready
go
to
down
go.
fighting.
And that is one of the biggest pieces of importance to the character of Captain America that they nailed.
never gives up.
He never gives up. He's always in there for the fight. But we're going to move on very quickly. We're going to touch upon the animated versions of him. Of course, I always talk about the Disney versions of Avengers Assemble and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Two amazing cartoons. You can check them out on Disney Plus right now. Really do it. They show you a different telling of the Avengers as opposed to the movie version or the comic version, and they do a great job of telling a whole story. They deal with Thanos, Ultron, everything you've seen in the movies they deal with in here. And then, of course, the Ultimate Avengers movies, taking a little bit off of the Ultimates line of comic books. Another great storyline as well for these comic books and movies. But this is going to do it for us here on our character spotlight.
We forgot the most important Captain America.
What?
Lego Captain America.
I do enjoy me some Lego Captain America.
Captain America.
But we've got to go to our next interview, which is one that you did over at Sci-Fi Bartow with Joel Wynkoop, the king of the B-horror movies. Oh, that's 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
We won't be able to do that.
We won't be. Can we do the Butch one? How long is that one? What's going on, Nerdites? It's the Princess of Weird, Josh Johnson, right here, along with the one and only Butch Patrick, better known to a lot of you as Eddie Munster from the Munsters. Sir, thank you for being on Nerd Talk TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, I got to ask you, what was it like being on set for the Munsters for as long as you've been there? You're the quintessential Eddie Munster.
Well, imagine if you would Halloween, the best Halloween ever, and with the best makeup artists and the best special effects and cool people, and doing it for 2 years.
That is extremely awesome. Now, I got to ask you, you have the pin on you, ButchFerraiCBD.com. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, a friend of mine from California, Courtney Arcaro, used to be a marijuana grower, medical marijuana grower, and she moved to Florida and got into CBD and asked me to get the word out because so many people are suffering from aches and pains, and especially people my age, that her CBD company is Rise Botanicals, and it does really good work for a lot of people, so I'm helping her get the word out.
Well, hopefully this will help get the word out a little bit more as well. Now, I got to ask you, they have tried rebooting the Munsters in recent years. How do you feel about them not only trying to reboot it, but is there a special way that they might need to reboot it? Because one of the things that I loved about the series was the fact that they made you guys seem like you were the normal ones and everybody else was the odd ones. And a lot of the newer incarnations, they're trying to flip it in reverse, where the family's the odd ones, everybody else is the normal ones. How do you think they should go about it?
Well, I spoke with Seth. Seth Meyers has the current rights to it, and I spoke with his number 2 guy in L.A., and I said, you know, where I think the problem has been in the past with the Munster reboots, it's so much that they're trying to they're trying to copy the original, but at the same time, you can't duplicate the 60s. So the people watching it were in the 60s. You have to take modern day viewership, apply what was successful in the 60s, and put a twist on it that keeps people's interest, but keeps the simplicity and the feel good momentum that it had back then. So it's a difficult thing to do, but if you pull it off, I think it's possible. But people are more sophisticated today, so you have to take into account of where society is.
I think that is a very true statement. Where can people go and find out more about you if they want to get in touch with you?
I have a very difficult website. Now, you might want to get a pen and paper out. Munsters.com. It's a tough one. Munsters.com.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Butch Patrick for joining me here on Nerd Talk TV. We'll be back in just a little bit with some more interviews. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Comic Book 101 TV. I'm the Princess of Weird, Josh Johnson.
I'm Michael Stanley, cosplaying Tampa Bay.
We'll see you next week.